The Alpha Sessions.
So hi everyone and welcome to Alpha Sessions. Today I'm really excited to have Emma Webb with us. Hi Emma, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. I'm very good. Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
We're really excited. It's just like been such an incredible time for you, which we're going to get onto in a second. Had lots going on. First of all, could you describe your music for us?
Yeah. Oh, well, it's lyrically it's very honest and it's about life experiences, and musically it's kind of a folk pop kind of vibe, acousticy kind of thing. But yeah, definitely a lot of folk in there in terms of storytelling. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's chill. Like when we're trying to get on playlists, we're going for the chill vibes. So that's the
Mm.
kind of vibe I would say. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but it's really true what you say, like very honest songs. We'll get onto that in a second because I got some questions about your songs. But yeah, they're just really chill, but also just really speak to you. I'm feeling like it's just there's a lot in there that you can listen to it, and every time you get something different out of the song. So I'm really enjoying listening to them. So what's especially exciting is that you've recently released your first EP, Best Friend. Well done for that. We're very excited. How did you decide which songs would feature on it?
Wow, originally I sent so I've been working with a guy called Mark on my artist development. So we've been working together on this EP, which is really great because there's a lot of stuff he knows about the music industry that I just don't. And so he said, throw me some songs your way and we'll start to have a little look at what we want to do with them. So I sent 18 of my songs, and
Oh wow, that's a lot.
I didn't really know what the the average number was. He said, yeah, normally I get like 4 to 6 like sort of songs. 18's quite a lot.
That just means he had a good choice. So better more than less, right?
So we've kind of thematically chosen the songs that are about my friends.
Mm.
And yeah, we just thought that was a nice theme because all three of them are about friendship and unconditional love. And a lot of my songs are about my friends and my family, but these ones just seem to have a very similar theme. So that's what we
Yeah,
chucked them all in an EP together.
yeah. And are you happy with the reactions that you've had so far?
Super happy. Yeah, I just checked my stats just a minute ago on Spotify, and Best Friend's already just over 16,000 streams,
Wow.
and it only came out a week and 2 days ago. So
Mhm.
I'm super super chuffed with that.
That's great.
Yeah, so I'm very happy. Yeah.
That's really cool. Oh, really excited. How long did it take you to write the songs, and how do you come up with the ideas?
Wow, this is the thing. A lot of my songs I wrote years and years ago, because I've been a musician for a long time, and I've been writing songs since I was a teenager, and so actually I realised that I wrote 90s playlist and Best Friend on the same day, about
No way.
4 or 5 years ago. Yeah. So I just felt really nostalgic that day, and I just felt like celebrating my friends, and these two songs just fell out of me.
On the
Um,
same day?
no, yeah.
Wow.
I didn't realize it then, but I now realize that was a very productive day.
Very.
So yeah, I only realized that the other day. I was like, oh my gosh, I actually, because I record everything in my voice memos on my phone.
Mhm.
Like when I first come up with an idea. So I had a little look and it was the same date. And I was like, oh yeah, I totally wrote them on the same day. So
Wow.
it surprised me as well. So that was good. But I probably, when I start to write a song, I usually come up with the chords first. It's always the music first. And
I
then
was
I
just about to ask you which one is first, the words or the music?
always the music, and I
Mhm.
loop. I just loop the chords. So if I've got a four chord structure usually a chorus, I go for first because that's always the kind of thing that tends to tell me what the rest of the song will be about.
Yeah.
Just loop them around, and then stuff just falls out for me, like
Mhm.
lyric, melody. It all just kind of really. I try not to overthink it. I just let it fall out of me, and usually it's stuff I've been thinking about for a while, or wanting to celebrate friends, and it just all kind of gushes out of me.
Yeah. Do you
Sounds
feel like you have to kind of feel a certain way? It's kind of like, I mean, I don't mean to like make it sound too superficial, but is it almost like when you're getting up and you're kind of like starting the day, you're feeling, oh, I just feel like I need to sit down and like get this out? Or how would the process kind of start?
definitely that. So I don't write songs every day. I know there's some people that are writing and writing all the time, but I know when it feels, I know when I've got that feeling when I need to sit down with my keyboard or my guitar and just do it. And yeah, and usually I'm not even conscious of what it is I've got on my mind, but I know there's something there, there's something brewing, and it's almost like a journal. It is like a journal for me.
Yeah.
So if I feel like, yeah, there's something I need to get off my chest here, let me find some good chords and loop it and see what
Yeah.
happens.
I love that. That's really cool. What was it like working with the producer when you recorded the EP? And did you make many changes to the songs as you were going along recording them?
Yeah, wow. That so for Maybrick Road, there was almost like no changes whatsoever. I mean, so Chris, who I worked with, who works, his company is called Lightscape Music, and he's in Brighton.
Mhm.
His thing is all about having these kind of waves of like synth going
Yeah.
through the background of the music, and that kind of sets the whole tone of the EP. I think it's really really lovely. So other than adding that kind of texture, Maybrick Road is pretty much exactly the same
Mhm.
on my guitar. I think the way the guitar he does the guitar for the EP, because
Mhm.
I get a bit nervous, even though I will play it when I'm doing live gigs. But it's a slightly different pattern, which I quite like because when I go to do live stuff eventually, it will have a slightly different sound to it on the guitar. But essentially, the structure and everything's the same. We changed some things around with 90s playlist. Things like the actual phrasing and the first beat of the bar, we actually changed that quite a lot, like where we wanted the emphasis to be. Um, so that was quite different, but I got my head around it eventually.
Yeah. But was that something that kind of like, obviously collaborated on that? Like he wouldn't have forced you to do it if you didn't want to. It's kind of like just seeing, like trying out different ideas and seeing what you were happy with.
Yeah, because I just
Yeah.
sent him a demo and he just heard it. Because in the phrasing you've got "Let's drive 300 miles,"
Mm.
and then "You and Us" on a 90s playlist. And for me, that line "Let's drive 300 miles" is the first line of the chorus. But for him, he heard it as like a pre-chorus line,
Oh, okay.
and that's like going into that
Yeah.
bit. And when I heard what he'd done to it, I was like, oh, that feels different, but it makes much more sense. So he
Mhm.
heard it differently, but I was like, actually, of course, we want the first line to be "You and Us" on a 90s playlist on that,
Yeah.
that first line. So yeah, so it's just interesting what other people's perspective when they're listening to it,
Mm.
musical point of view. It's like, oh, I didn't hear it like that, but I quite like it. Let's do that.
Yeah, that's nice because of course, like as a solo artist, like you're doing stuff on your own. So I imagine it's great when you kind of can then open that up and like share that with other people and just hear their kind of ideas and work with that and kind of take it to like, another level, as it were.
Especially as these songs are 4, 5, 6 years old. I've had these songs
Yeah.
in my head for such a long time, and there's a part of me that's a bit stubborn about how I want it to be, but then there's also a part of me that's like, I've had these songs in my head for so long, I've almost gotten not bored of them, but they're just kind of a neutral. I can't hear it like it's
Yeah.
more, whereas these people can, and and they've got a professional ear to it as well. So yeah, the more help, the merrier. Like,
Yeah.
it's great. It's great.
It's great that I think that's like a real testament to like your songwriting, that even though you wrote them 4 or 5 years ago, sounds like you just wrote them yesterday. Like they're just so like they're still relevant. They just still speak loads.
I've had a lot of people say that listening to songs about friends and stuff, where we're at in the world right now with COVID
Yeah.
and everything,
Mm.
has been really like heartwarming,
Yeah.
to make them think about all this stuff we can do with our friends when we get back together again. And I didn't even think about that when we released it. That wasn't part of like, oh, we'll release it now because COVID. Like it just has all fallen into place
Yeah.
as it is. So I'm glad it makes people think about celebrating friendships and makes them nostalgic, and
Yeah.
that's what it's about for sure. So yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you, what is Maybrick Road about? Because I kind of had some theories, because it's like it's kind of talking about you singing as in like you, and then it's like talking about another girl. And I was like, what's going on here? Can you just like tell us what the song's about?
I've had some people think it's about losing a friend, and because it has
Oh, okay.
sadness to it. It's not at all. It's about it's literally about me and my two friends that we lived together on Maybrick Road. So it was a year
So it's
after
a real address, a real place.
in Bath. You can check it out.
Okay. Go on Google Maps later.
Google Map it. Yeah, so we lived there the year after uni. We also lived in other places too, but that was our first year, the three of us living together, and we just had the most amazing time. It was just so much fun. It was so silly. We had a great time. We never got annoyed with each other. The only time we had an argument was when one of them ate our cheese, because we love cheese, and she ate our cheese in the fridge, and we were just thinking about cheese all day. Got back from work and it wasn't there, so we got angry then. But other than that,
That's pretty good going. Just a block of cheese to get in between, but that's not bad.
yeah. It's food. But yeah, we just had a great time. We're still really good friends. And when I actually wrote that song after, quite a while after we'd moved out of Maybrick Road,
Mhm.
and one of them, Gemma, she came to visit me. I'd bought a house in Bristol, and we just thought, should we write a song together? And we sat down. So we actually wrote it together. But she was like, no, I don't want any royalties. It's fine. You do with it if you
She
want.
might do soon, you never know.
But but yeah, so it's just about, each verse is about each of us as individuals,
Right.
and then it's just about wanting to see each other be happy, and
Mm.
just, progress in life and be happy, and just create a happy life, and just it's just that kind of, that love that you have for your friends, and as you grow up you just want the best for them. And
Yeah.
I think I realized when we lived in Maybrick Road together that, those were friends for life, and
Yeah.
we're still very, very close. So it's just, again, it's a celebration of a song, but it's slightly more, it's not sad, but it's slightly more somber. It's slightly
Mhm.
more reflecting on, growing up and changing, but still wanting the best for everybody. She was a lovely girl from a strange world. She was a lovely girl with a sense of it all. She left her old friends to earn a buck or two. She moved to London town, and we said good luck to you. And I hope that you're happy with the choices that you make. And I hope that you're happy with the life that you create. She's just a quiet girl with her head up in the clouds. She's just a quiet girl who can laugh for hours and hours. She moved from London town to live her own life. Not sure what she wants right now, but I know she'll be alright. And I hope that she's happy with the choices that she makes. And I hope that she's happy with the life that she creates. I'm just a funny girl from a town on the southern coast. I'm just a funny girl, but I know what I want most. To know that I'm happy with the choices that I make. To know that I'm happy with the life that I create. I hope that we're happy with the choices that we make. And I hope that we're happy with the lives that we create. But we'll always have Maybrick Road. Maybrick Road.
The Alpha Sessions.
And I heard you say before, like in a different interview, that a lot of your songs are about unconditional love and self-love and kind of discovering what's important in life. I was wondering, has that always been true for you, kind of focusing on these kind of things, or is that a recent thing that you've been looking at in terms of your songwriting?
Well, it's interesting. Obviously, I wrote these songs a while ago, and I don't think the priority was unconditional love at that point. I was just writing about what I was thinking about. But now it's a massive priority in my life. I had quite a big thing sort of change for me a few years ago. My brother got cancer.
I'm
He had
sorry.
cancer and he passed away 2 years ago. And he was ill for 3 years. And over that whole time, I'm 28 now, so it was my mid-20s and he was 20 years older than me because we've got a big
I've got a sister like that. I've got a sister who's 20 years younger than me.
yeah.
Big difference, yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things. You've got all these like I've heard so many people have siblings now that are all like different ages. I'm the youngest of four, but yeah. So he passed away, and it was obviously heartbreaking, and we're still
Mm,
grieving as a family, and it's always going to be that way. But it's taught me so much about what's important, and it was just
mm,
like a switch. Like, oh, okay, so these other things that I've been wasting my time thinking about in life, like boys that don't fancy me back, and you know and what I look like in the mirror and all this stuff, like actually that's not important. And
mm,
it's made me realize what's important, what's not, and I think it's a big reason why I started to think, oh, actually I want to release my music. I want to give this a proper go because what's the point in waiting? What am I waiting for?
yeah.
Okay, let's
I heard someone say that you regret more the things that you don't do. So if you don't do it, like you'll never know what happens, and things have been picking up for you so quickly. It's like, imagine if you didn't do it, it would be such a shame.
And it's so funny because I actually originally I released 3 songs last year. So I released 3 songs in July, August and October, I think it was, that me and my partner, who's a musician as
Mm,
well, and a few of our friends, we were all free.
yeah.
Not got a whole lot of extra
Not
budget.
much going on.
So we thought we'd give this a go, and so remotely via Logic and everything, we all recorded our parts and put it together and released a few songs. And so no real production on it, mixed and mastered in a sort of unprofessional way. And the third song was when this guy Mark, who runs a company called Blind Talent, heard it, liked my songwriting, and emailed me. And so this was 3 songs in of ever releasing anything.
Wow. During lockdown. So I wanted to like talk about like where your kind of journey started. So this is like so recent, isn't it? In terms of like,
Really recent,
yeah,
and because of COVID, because I wouldn't have had the time, and I wouldn't have had musicians who had the time
yeah,
to give this a go if it wasn't for COVID. And I know a lot of people that have reassessed their lives
mm,
over this year and have made changes for the better.
yeah,
I think we've all done that a little bit, and that's when I went, wait a second, I keep thinking I don't want to regret anything in life, actually this is a big thing that I want to do and I've always wanted to do. Why haven't I done it?
yeah. So what were you doing before? What was like a typical day like for you before then?
So I'm a choir leader,
Right.
and a singing teacher. So I run 4 choirs a week. I'm still doing it, but on Zoom. So
Okay.
normally it would be my evenings where I'd be heading off to venues to run choir sessions. And
Mhm.
I used to be a singing teacher on a Saturday as well for a Stagecoach Performing Arts.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah, so I would go and do that. I've left that since, but yeah, so it would be Monday to Thursday doing choirs, and then a Saturday teaching singing, and private students in between as well.
Mm,
So still doing the choir stuff on Zoom.
yeah. How does that compare to now? I mean, obviously, I know we're still in the middle of the pandemic, but how is your life different now with all this, the music stuff that's going on? What's your typical day now? If you're able to say a typical day.
Well, a typical day now is the internet.
Yeah. It
Living
saved us.
screen, yeah, and it's quite weird because I'm just really excited to get some live gigs in there because
Yeah.
I studied opera, I studied classical
Oh,
music,
did you study opera?
yeah, and then I studied
Oh.
musical theatre. I'm not a classical singer really,
Mhm.
but it's good to get that training, and then
Yeah.
I'm musical theatre. So for me, it's always been about live performance. That's where I get my kicks.
Mm,
So as much as recording stuff, but also I did record the EP in Brighton with Chris, way before lockdown, and all of
mhm.
that. But then everything else has been remotely done. So
Yeah.
singles that are about to come out, that's been remotely done, and then on a screen and all this kind of stuff. So actually, I can see that people are listening to my music
Mm,
from the stats on my screen, but I
yeah.
really want to have that actual connection of a live performance. So yeah, a day in the life now is doing all of these things, being really active. Actually, a lot of the time I'm sitting on my sofa and I'm looking at my stats on Spotify and I'm emailing my manager and
Yeah.
and it's just all on screen. So I'm ready to actually be going and
Get
doing.
back out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But didn't you recently do a Zoom gig? How was that? How did that go?
Yeah, it was interesting. It was fine. I think the thing that you worry about when you do a Zoom gig isn't necessarily singing a song. It's, is the sound going to work? Is the internet gonna cut out? Can
Yeah.
people hear me? Can people see me? Has something gone wrong? It's all tech stuff.
Yeah.
And the thing is, a lot of the time, if the internet decides to be a bit weird, or Zoom decides to be a bit weird, there's not an awful lot you can really do.
No, you're kind of at the mercy of it, aren't you?
It's a whole other fear of
Yeah.
performing.
Yeah.
And then you're not even thinking about your singing anymore. And then when you get to singing, you're like, oh, wait, this is what it's about. But
Yeah.
I'm panicking about everything else. But no, it went really well. It was literally just a 10-minute gig in an interval of a choir concert
Okay.
that a guy I know in Bath was running. It was all for charity. It was for Anxiety UK, and they've managed to
Okay.
raise over their what they wanted. They've raised about £1,700. So
Oh,
that's
that's great.
amazing. And it was really nice to do it. Yeah. So yeah, nerve-wracking.
So you're busy. Yeah, got lots going on. I wanted to ask you that you released a making of the EP vlog. What was the kind of reason behind that? What did you kind of want to share with us?
Wow, I want to get my YouTube going a bit more. That's probably the main reason.
Yeah.
I've always vlogged. I vlog my holidays. So I've, for about 2 years now, I went to Disney World, Florida about 2-3 years ago now, and I wanted to film all of that just because
Yeah.
it's nice to see the memory back. And then I decided, and this was after actually, so my brother passed away, which was really sad, and we always have a family holiday every summer, and I hadn't vlogged any of that, and I thought, actually, I really love the idea of having a memory that I can watch back of my travels. And also people might find it interesting because I talk about where we're going, what we're doing, how we've done it, and if it's any good, and that kind of stuff. So I put that on YouTube, and I thought I should probably put a bit more of my music stuff on there, and so it just made sense to do some vlogs about what I've been up to. And again, it's almost selfishly done because I like to watch it back in years to come. I can be like, yeah, I did that, and that was really cool.
I think that's great. And also, like you say, it's just taking people through the process. And I thought it was just like, I thought it was really honest again, because you were saying like you were just nervous when it was coming up to the release date. And of course, that's totally normal. How do you manage those kind of nerves in terms of like the EP release, like nerves of like gigging? Is there any like techniques that you've got or anything like that?
Yeah, well, the nerves of release. Well, when I released 90s Playlist, because I released it as a single before the EP, that day, release day, I was a bit of a mess. I was a bit of a mess. I don't know what I was feeling. I don't know. I was excited, but I was nervous, and I was a little bit all over the place. And also being in the house. So, like, you like to think on release day you might go and do a gig or something, but I don't really want to do an online gig. Like, like I've done a few, but it's, and yeah, so I was a bit of a mess then. But then this release day that I had for the EP was really chill. So I think it's very up and down. With gigs and live performances, my thing is to take my nice low deep breaths. And I feel like it pushes any anxiety or any worries down. It's good to be nervous. This is what I tell my students as well. Obviously, nerves are really good because it gives
They help to a certain degree, don't they? Definitely.
energy and adrenaline and the whole. But I always think if you let it rise too high, if you let it rise sort of into your chest or your neck, then it's gone too far and you feel a bit sick. So you want to just keep it low, keep it there, but keep it low. So yeah, I'm all about just like deep breathing before a gig, and just focusing on what I want to get out from it, and then just having fun.
So I wanted to ask you, your song 90s Playlist is about two friends who take a road trip. What are 3 of your all-time favorite 90s songs?
Oh,
Putting you on the spot there.
okay. I think, well, a specific song. Well, Alanis Morissette just in general, her Jagged Little Pill album. I love the song Head Over Feet in the album. I don't think it's been as like noticed as some of the other ones.
That's really true, isn't it? That wasn't as big as like some of the others, but I love that song.
Yeah, I love it. I think it would be a really nice sort of wedding first dance song.
Oh, that is true.
Maybe it'll be mine one day.
Yeah.
But, I love that song. I love I don't know if I'm leaning into the noughties a bit with this, but Gabrielle. I love Gabrielle 90s, or was she more early noughties? But yeah, Gabrielle and Dreams.
Yeah.
Oh,
Love her.
love that. I've just thought of the Lighthouse Family as well. Are they 90s? Is that right? Or is that noughties?
Don't know. Let's pretend it's 90s, even if it's not. It's such a great song.
House Family. I
Yeah,
discovered an
that's
album of theirs when I was on holiday years ago. It was in a holiday house that we just rented out, and there was just a CD there, and it was the Lighthouse Family. Like, this is when I was like very young, so it must have been the 90s. Yeah, and I love them, and like Ocean Drive.
Yeah.
Kind of like really again, it's sort of hopefully what my music kind of pushes to people is this uplifting, chilled out, really good vibes.
Yeah. I was going to ask you, how would you say life is different in Bristol, where you live now, compared to Bexhill, where you grew up and studied music?
Oh, that's such a good question. No one's asked me that before. Wow, it's very different. I think my mum always says, and she was right. There was a point after I left uni when I was thinking about coming back home again. And she was like, if you come home, you won't leave and you won't get the opportunities that you would get in Bath and Bristol. And she was totally right. She always is.
Mums are always right, aren't they?
Yeah. But yeah, Bexhill was, people say Bexhill is where retirement people go to die. Which is true. There's a lot of old people there, and it's a lovely retirement place to live, and it's by the sea, and it's gorgeous. I think what was great for me and my friends growing up there was that it was safe. It was a place. We often would say we were sleeping around someone's house, and then we'd just stay in a field all night drinking cider. And
love it. But then nothing bad would happen.
No, it would be absolutely fine. We'd end up back at someone's house at like, I don't know, 7 a.m. or whatever. I could never
love that.
But yeah, and we, we'd go on the beach, and there was some really great. There was a performing arts school called East Sussex School of Performing Arts, right in the centre of Bexhill, where I went to for 11 years, and that was all musical theatre stuff that I did. And there was also a charity called Rhythmics, which is the reason why Little Mix had to change their name.
Okay.
A little fact. And I was part of that. So basically they gathered together musicians and formed bands, and we rehearsed every week in a church.
That's cool.
And I did a few gigs in an all-girl band. I was a rhythm guitarist and backing vocals, and we got to perform at the Delaware Pavilion, which is an amazing, huge theatre in Bexhill, just an incredible venue, and a lot of really cool, famous people perform there. Great. I hope to maybe do a gig there at some point. So there's some really cool things. It's right by Hastings. It's near Eastbourne, Brighton. There's all these great things, but it was very safe, and I got everything I could get out of it, I think, from a musical point of view, whilst also just learning to make stupid mistakes and grow up, and it was good, and it was all very safe to do that. But yeah, coming to Bath and Bristol, there's just a buzz of creativity just constantly. And I love Bristol because it's very liberal, and I'm a very liberal person. You've got all sorts of people here. And I like to think the majority of the time it's very celebrated. I think we're all quite liberal people. And yeah, you just have to walk around the harbour side to get this creative buzz. You've got buskers, you've got like loads of people just smiling and having a good time. And I just feel like it's very much the place for me. And Bath got that vibe too, in a slightly more posh way.
Yeah.
Aged 4, we met at school, and I said, I think your fringe looks cool, and you followed me around that day, and you said, we're best friends, okay. Aged 11, we start secondary school, and we met out by the gates trying to act cool, and we stuck around with each other that day, and we said we're best friends, so we'll be okay. You and I, we know each other better than each other, in a world where nothing else makes sense. You and I were kindred spirits, we had gelled together, in a world where nothing else makes sense. You are my best friend. see my show, you say I'm proud of you. Trip away, we go crazy in Paris. First festival of summer solace. Christmas back home, Christmas Eve tradition, board games and chocolate and everything between a mess. You and I, we know each other better than each other in a world where nothing else makes sense. You and I were kindred spirits, we are gel together in a world where nothing else makes sense. You are my best friend, you're my best friend, yeah. You are my best friend, you're my best friend, yeah. You are my best friend, you're my best friend, yeah.
The Alpha Sessions.
Something else I wanted to ask you about is which songs or musicians have been important to you in terms of like shaping you as an artist?
Okay, as soon as you say that, Paul Simon is just a legend, and his Graceland album is amazing. I got to see him in 2013, and
Did you?
yeah, and he had Ladysmith Blackman Barzo there as well. So they were like his choir. It was
Yeah.
so incredible. It was awesome. So yeah, I think Paul Simon's amazing. I love Graceland, and the African influences and just and his storytelling, and it's honest. You know, the song Graceland in itself. You know, he's literally on a road trip. You know, maybe that's consciously was in my head while I, you know, wrote 90s Playlist. But yeah, I think he's got a pureness in his tone, in his voice, and an honesty in his songwriting, which I love. Alanis Morissette. Again, Jagged Little Pill, that album, Angry, love it.
It was just so revolutionary when it came out. I just feel like there hadn't been anything like that before in a way.
Yeah.
For me, anyway, I don't know. It just felt like, like you say, it was kind of like angry, wasn't it? In a specific way.
Because I was born in 1992. So even though I love the 90s, I was probably a bit too young to experience it when it happened. So when I actually really experienced Jagged Little Pill was when I was about 13, just when I needed to experience you know, which is great. But there's even like new albums, like Harry Styles' new album. Like, I think it's fantastic. I
love him. I think he's great, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't, you know, One Direction, I was too old for that. My niece
Oh yeah.
But his album is great, and there's still, and Celeste, you know, she's got some amazing.
Love her.
There's still so many new artists that are here that, you know, that I'm discovering all the time. Maisie Peters as well, I think she's great. So yeah, there's loads of stuff I'm discovering all the time that inspires me. I've got friends who are also, you know, writing songs and releasing music, which is always a great thing to inspire each other. Women supporting women.
Yeah.
All of that. So yeah, old stuff, new stuff. Carole King as well. I've just been listening to Carole King non-stop this week. I just bought her record because it's 50th anniversary of Tapestry, of her album, and so I got the vinyl. So I've had that on all week.
They did a musical in London, the Carole King musical. I got my mum and stepdad tickets to that. They loved it.
Oh, yeah, it's lovely. And it just, like, I love that musical because it shows you how much songwriting she did in the background. She had a lot of music she wrote for Motown. Like, it doesn't just have to be this one genre, you know. And that's kind of what I hope to do. I hope as I get more confident as an artist in myself, I can then also work in the background as a songwriter for other artists. That would be a dream to do that as well. Yeah.
What other artists would you like to songwrite for?
Or anyone that will have me. I don't know. That's such a good question. Yeah, anyone. Like, I kind of like the idea of working with other independent artists who are on the way up, and you know, working with them from the kind of early stage of them as an artist. I think that's really cool. But anyone, yeah.
Yeah. So what's the plan once we can go back to live music gigs? Have you got anything kind of planned that you can tell us about, or anything upcoming?
The hope is to do some festivals in the summer.
Yeah.
But
Because they've confirmed Reading and Leeds, haven't they, in terms of like festivals, big ones
which
happening.
surprises me because obviously Glastonbury got cancelled. I thought all the really big, you know, festivals would be out, but the smaller stuff might be happening. But then Reading and Leeds that's really promising for all those other festivals as well. So hopefully stuff will be going ahead, and you know, and I can get a few gigs, some acoustic slots and stuff. It'd be great to start getting gigs in the summer now so I can work up my confidence and figure out my set and all that kind of stuff that I haven't been able to do yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully, but actually nothing in concrete yet. So I should probably get on that, really.
You've still got a bit of time though. I mean,
It's all good.
yeah. What are the next single releases that you've got coming up?
So at the end of this month, so I will. This is an exclusive.
Oh,
March.
hearing it straight on the Alpha Sessions.
Yeah, this is exclusive for Alpha. Yeah, so on March the 26th, I've got a song coming out called Younger Self, and that is one that I actually wrote in November. So it's one of my newest songs that I've written. And it's about self-love, it's about body image, it's about body dysmorphia. So yeah, Younger Self, that will be out on March 26th. So like I say, it's a lot more vulnerable. It's almost like a ballad, like a love song to myself. Kind of, yeah, I really like it because it's kind of how I would talk to my younger self. But then it was also kind of being like, well, I contradict myself because I'm still working on that now. Like, so I hope that's really relatable.
Yeah.
Respond to it well. And then I'm in the process of working with a producer in America called Zach, doing a re-release. So these 3 songs I did last year that were kind of not as good, they were under a different name. I had a little nickname called M.
Okay.
So we kind of scrapped them and we started again when I started working with Blinding Talent.
Yeah.
And so we're going to re-release my song Sitting Too Long in the Sun. And that song is all about, what's it about? Sitting too long in the sun as a phrase, I kind of mean like we've been letting ourselves like off too easily about things like being ignorant and arrogant, people online throwing abuse. You know, there's a little bit of kind of a reference to BLM in there, and just I'm just somebody that believes that everybody deserves to be happy. And we all have different versions of happiness. We all have a different purpose. We all have a different, like, where we want to get to. Our conclusion of happiness is different. But if we just respected that, if we each respected each other's journey to happiness, then this world would be a whole lot nicer.
It'd be so much better, wouldn't it? Just holding the judgment.
Totally. But then there's these really, really like subconscious, drilled into us kind of prejudices and things that we're completely ignorant to, and you know, racism, homophobia, all this kind of stuff. From some people's perspective, you know, they've grown up in a culture where, or even like in a town somewhere in England, you know, where they've not experienced people from lots of different cultures, and they need to educate themselves, because otherwise they will come across as, and that's just really how I feel. And I think Sitting Too Long in the Sun is all revolving around just the world that we live in now. We've all been letting ourselves off too easy. We need to take responsibility for the thoughts that we have before they even become an action. You know, we need to start teaching ourselves, and if that means reading a book or learning about you know, history,
and do it.
And do it. Yeah, totally. So that's kind of what that song's about. So I'm delving into wider topics.
I was just literally about to say that's exciting, because these 2 songs are kind of examining other issues that are, again, so relevant and so current that I think it's going to just resonate with so many people.
I hope so. Yeah. I hope so. And I'm just expressing how I feel about things, and it feels really good. It feels really good to put my thoughts and feelings out there. So I just hope people like it. But yeah, we're re-releasing it. It sounded very country before, so we're trying to go down a slightly more acoustic-y, but with a bit more grit sound. So I'm literally starting working on that tomorrow. So
exciting.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens with that. And then we kind of plan to just keep releasing as often as we can, sort of once a month if we can, for a while, and then hopefully getting some live stuff in the summer would be great too. So yeah, lots going on.
That's really exciting. Do you have, I mean, maybe this is a silly question because it sounds like you're really busy, but do you have any spare time to kind of carry on doing more songwriting?
Yeah, I've actually, it's really interesting. I don't put pressure on myself to write all the time, because I feel like if you say to yourself, I'm going to write a song today, then it's going to feel forced, and it's not going to necessarily be real. And I want my songs to be completely honest. But actually, I wrote Younger Self, and then I've written 2 other songs since then. One is kind of about anxiety and about, it's called Keep It Away, Back Down, and it's just like basically saying like, let's let go of that, let's keep it away, let's back it down. So yeah, I quite like that song. And then another song is called A New Kind of Happy, which is about kind of dealing with grief after a few years after a loss, and how everything that like sad isn't that sad anymore, because nothing could be as bad as that, but then happy is not necessarily as happy as it was before. And I've called it A New Kind of Happy, and it's all about that. So I feel really good about the stuff that I'm writing about. I feel like it's super honest, and I've gone right deep into this kind of vulnerable place.
I was going to say, how does it make you feel? Because like, it's obviously you being really vulnerable. Do you find it a bit scary? Like, how do you find it?
I think I'm a talker in life. I am emotional. I'm always on the line of emotion. I think a lot of creative people are, and I've always been incredibly honest. So for me, talking about my brother and talking about difficult things and mental health and stuff, actually I've always been quite good at that. I've always been really quite honest, sometimes a bit dramatic, but mostly just honest.
That's great, because so many people struggle to be honest. So I think if you can be, that's half. It was probably more than half of it, isn't it?
Totally. And like, I let myself have a good cry if I need to. I think that's important. And I come from a family that's fairly unemotional. Like my mom said,
that's interesting then. So you're different.
Yeah, like I'm been quite openly emotional and trying to talk to my family and connect with them. I've written a few songs about that as well. Yeah, I'm quite emotional in a family that don't really want to talk about their emotions. I don't know if that's made me more so.
Yeah. You're just so intent, like, we are going to talk.
Yeah, but I think where we're at in the world in a positive way is that people are talking about mental health a lot more.
And thank goodness for that. Thank God.
Right. And I think I've always been that way, but people are catching up with me. So I'm talking to my friends a lot more about a lot deeper stuff than we have ever talked to, but it's so good. Like, it's just so healthy. And so writing about these songs, it's scary in a way that if people don't like the music, I might take that a bit personally, but I also know that people, not everyone has to like my music, but I hope that people can relate to it. That's what I want. I want people to go, oh my God, she's feeling that way too, because I know there's so many people that go through losing a loved one, and that go through body image and mental health issues, and people being horrible to them on social media, and all this stuff that I'm writing about. I know it's not just my experiences, so I want to share that, and I hope if there's one person that emotionally feels connected to my music and kind of goes, oh, thank God someone else feels that way too, then I've done my job.
Yeah. So that's something that's important for you, to like connect with people through your music, to reach out, and so people feel they're not so alone.
Totally. So yeah, hopefully, and that's kind of with this EP as well. I want people to hear it and go, oh my God, I haven't talked to my best friend in a couple of weeks. Do you know what? I'm going to send him a message and check how they are. That's what I would love for it to do, to make them go, oh, wait a second, I've been thinking about this boy for like days, but what about my best friend? I'm going to go and talk to her quickly, or and just remind everybody that those are the people that are in it for the long haul,
Yeah. Where can we hear your EP, Best Friend?
You can hear on all streaming and download sites. I would recommend Spotify.
Okay.
Spotify, if you've got that, you can buy it on iTunes. It's on all of the things, all of them.
So you can't miss it.
Yeah, you can't miss it. If you Google it, you'll find it.
Okay. And you're across all the socials, right? Do you want to give us your handles, details, all that kind of stuff?
This is Emma Webb, and I'm on TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, but I post the most on Instagram. So give me a follow.
Great. Oh, thank you so much for your time today. It's been really exciting talking to you. So yeah, follow Emma wherever you can, and grab the EP. I wish you lots of success with everything, and hopefully we'll have you in the studio soon. Like if you're passing through London, whenever you can.
Yeah, well, I pass through all the time because I go home to Sussex, so it's great.
You can come in the studio then.
Oh my God, I'd love that. Yes, please. Yeah.